If you're not up for hugs or handshakes, you're welcome to stay seated, share a smile, and give a wave. Online, use the chat option to share greetings. All right, if we can find our way back to our seats, there's a few announcements this morning. All right, Mark, you can go first. Oh, fine.
Art Squared's coming up. I put out sign up sheets on the table back there. There's 4 of them, so you don't have to wait in line. You can. I'm going to condense them to one eventually, but sign up for shut up. There's 2-hour shifts through the day and an hour at the end to tear down. So feel free to sign up for whatever you want to sign up for. I'll be around most of it. Uh, I was scheduled to play Irish Fest on the 18th, and then they moved us to the 19th. So in the middle of Art Squared. I'm gonna have to leave for a couple hours, but I'll be back. So anyway, do sign up for Art Squared.
You got an announcement?
Hi, everyone. There's such excitement in the air today. Wow, it feels really good. I wanted to tell you that we got a refrigerator for our own personal use here. And I just want to repeat how pleased we are with Southeast Community Services. They have been more than gracious to us. So if you ever see anybody hanging around, tell them that. They are just such loving people. So thank you.
You can.
Hello, everybody. I will also be at Art Squared most of the time, so I can cover Mark while he plays the gig. But what I wanted to talk to you about is we have been working, Marianne King and I in particular, on the setup and tear down. We found a nice flow with how we're doing that each week. But I just wanted to bring it to our attention. I am going to be out of town Labor Day weekend, so if anyone feels called to help with the AV crew in a more particular way, see me after service and we can talk about how you might help that day in particularly.
And I'm looking for more people to sign up for the Soup Squad of Deliciousness. We have a name now. And in particular, September 20th, we need someone to bring someone to bring the vegan and someone to bring the non-vegan, and that is the one weekend that I cannot fill in. So if anybody wants to either pick those days up or join the squad, just see me.
Do you all remember what next Sunday is? Fifth Sunday, right. So we don't have our normal, what we're doing today kind of service. We're going to have another kind of thing like we did last time. We're not going to use the pictures, but there's this radio program. What's it called? Donna, help me. We can't remember. But the gal is on and she asked the guests, pick 1, 2, or 3. The guest picks 3, she reads the question, and the person participating talks about the answer to that for them personally. It's one more way that we all get to know each other a little better. So I will have questions. I'll have a way to figure out where we'll be in groups of maybe 3, 4, depends on how many people show up. And we're just going to work in small groups and get to know each other better. So please, 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 please come next week. Otherwise, I've done all this printing and cutting for nothing. All right, see you next week.
If there are no more announcements, the youth may go to Youth Sangha.
I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy. love. I will leave this day as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this life as it is, go inside to find my God. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is more than enough. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is sacred love. Inside there is sacred love. Mhm.
At the Church Within, we meditate to connect with Source, to clear the clutter of our minds, and to remember that it is our inheritance that we are one with the great I Am, capable of being love in every circumstance and wise enough to bring that truth to our hearts and to take action. For today's meditation, you can follow these directions if you wish. With your feet flat on the floor, with your arms uncrossed and your hands at your sides or on your lap, begin. Begin with a deep cleansing breath in. Hold it for 3, 2, 1, and slowly let it go. Let your shoulders drop down a bit as you continue breathing deeply. Find yourself balanced. And if you haven't already, see how slowly you can lower your gaze or close your eyes completely. Continue to relax more deeply with each breath. Still more deeply with each breath. Even as your breath returns to natural, easier breathing, you can continue to relax more and more. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? In Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, he often tells us, I like you just the way you are. And in the 2019 movie, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Tom Hanks played Fred Rogers. Maybe you've seen it. And in a pivotal scene in a restaurant, he sits across from his very troubled new friend named Lloyd, a writer assigned to do an article on Mr. Rogers for Esquire magazine. Mr. Rogers prompts him, would you do something with me, Lloyd? It's an exercise I like to do sometimes. It will just take a minute. And think about all the people who loved us into being. Lloyd resists. I can't do that. Mr. Rogers encourages him. They will come to you. Just 1 minute of silence. I invite you here today to take 1 minute and think about all the people who loved you into being. Go ahead. I'll keep track of the minute. Thank you for doing that with me. I feel so much better, Fred Rogers said. It's time now to come back to this moment, this church, and the people around you, and open your eyes when you are ready. The church within is founded on the power of prayer. If you have a need for others to pray for you or with you, you may submit your request online at thechurchwithin.org. When you're here at church, you can use the prayer request box in the back of this room. If you want someone to pray with you today, I will be available after the service at the front of this room for that purpose.
Thank you, John. Now it's our great pleasure to welcome Justin O'Connor with this week's message.
Well, the songs and that meditation were just perfect for the message. To be honest, they kind of already gave my message, so I can really probably just go. No, talk about synchronicity. I told Danny that I was going to be talking about somebody who's been a great influence in my life, author Rachel Naomi Remen, Dr. Rachel Naomi Remen, who wrote this book, Kitchen Table Wisdom, I'll talk about here in a moment. And he told me that he has that book sitting on his dining room table, which it's not a well-known book. It's not a book that's really out there. I've told many people about it, and most people have never heard of it. So, and then those the songs that you picked. Thank you so much, Thomas. What a beautiful voice you have. Thank you. Just fit perfectly. One moment of unconditional love may call into question a lifetime of feeling unworthy and invalidate it. That quote has resonated with me from the first time that I ever heard it, first time I ever read it in this book, Kitchen Table Wisdom. I decided to talk about Rachel today to honor her. She died a few weeks ago on August 8th. She was 88 years old. Rachel was a 2-time New York Times bestseller. She was a pioneer and influential leader in the field of healing and integrative medicine. She influenced many people, but Rachel has been one of the biggest influences in my life. I was fortunate enough to meet her about 12 years ago, almost exactly, at a symposium or workshop that she gave in San Francisco that I attended. She's really just was a beautiful person. I read Kitchen Table Wisdom at a time in my life, a very critical time in my life. It helped me to connect the dots of some wisdom and experiences that I was having with my mentor. Each semester, and I'll speak more about this mentor here in a minute, I would think, okay, I think I've got what he's talking about now. And then the next year would come, or the next semester would come, and I'd be like, nope, I didn't have what he was talking about now, but now I do. And that kept happening until I read Kitchen Table Wisdom, and things really started to come together and click. So I've recommended it to many other people. They've not had the same experience that I've had with that book, but that's okay. In order to explain why that quote means so much to me, I have to give you a little bit of my background. I come from a strict Irish Catholic family with a father who possessed an explosive temper and a mother whose love seemed conditional at times. You need to go to church. You need to follow and believe the tenets of Catholicism. You need to marry a good Catholic girl. Those were some of the messages that I received from my mother. My father's rage and physical abuse that sometimes followed it sent another message. Something is wrong with you. You do not fit my image of what a good person is, a good boy, a good man is supposed to look like. And there were plenty of other messages. You're too sensitive. You're too soft. You're not manly enough. Men don't cry. You're weird. Don't draw attention to yourself. You're too flamboyant, and so on. As a mental health therapist, I've learned that many of us carry these messages with us. I imagine many of you carry or have worked through many of these same messages. In Gestalt therapy, we call these introjects. Introjects are messages we receive intentionally or unintentionally that we essentially swallow whole. And the interesting thing is, they start out being helpful. Learning how a good Catholic boy was supposed to think, believe, and behave helped me to get the love and affection I needed from my mother. Learning to act more manly and not be so sensitive helped me to gain more acceptance from my father, and sometimes helped me avoid his wrath. In a healthy organism, when we eat, we first chew and taste our food before swallowing it. We spit out what tastes bad or what isn't good for us, and we swallow what is nourishing and life-sustaining. But as a child, I didn't yet have that power of discernment. So I swallowed these messages whole. The problem was that no matter how hard I tried, at the end of the day, I was sensitive. I did cry. I was compassionate. I was different. And I liked being flashy. Trying to fit myself into my parents' mold was like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Unfortunately, as a child, I did not conclude my parents are flawed human beings who have difficulty tolerating certain aspects of human development. It's not something I thought. That's not how we think as kids, right? Instead, I concluded there was something fundamentally wrong with me. There was no hope for me, that I didn't have value, and at times that I was worthless. I grappled with those emotions for years. I struggled with drugs and alcohol. I went in and out of adolescent psych units, juvenile detention centers, runaway homes, military lockup, and jail. I seemed to drop out of or get kicked out of almost everything I tried. Multiple high schools, the United States Marine Corps, several attempts at college, and even a career in construction. As you can imagine, I didn't have much hope left when, out of desperation, I made my third and what I knew would be my final attempt at college, whether I succeeded or didn't. But as fate would have it, that is where I met the man who would make Rachel Remen's quote resonate so strongly in me, even to this day. My son's name is Joseph Roger O'Connor, but we call him Roger. He's named after my mentor, Dr. Joseph Roger Ware, but we called him Roger. Some of you may even know Roger. He spent time at the church. He would come to the Restas ACIM classes years ago when he was still alive. Roger was a professor of psychology at IUPUI. Standing about 5'8" tall, a man in his 70s with a white beard, a sports coat, pink socks and sandals, and a slight Kentucky drawl. He was quite unassuming. At first, I thought he was a nutcase. He danced to the beat of his own drum, to music that few could hear, but he heard loud and clear. But something deep within me was drawn to his energy that was just emanating from him. When I met Roger, I had 25 years of experience or evidence supporting what I believed. Something was fundamentally wrong with me. After all, I had learned that I was lovable when I succeeded. I was lovable when I behaved like a good Catholic. I was lovable when I acted tough. And because I so often fell short of these expectations, it reinforced my sense of worthlessness. But Roger's patience, his presence, and ultimately his unconditional love in the face of my fear, my shame, my weakness, my mental illness, and my sensitivity cracked wide open what I believed about my own worth. He saw past who I thought I was, and that made me begin to question what I had believed about myself. Could I have been wrong all this time? It's not that Roger gave me value. What he gave me was a glimpse of the barriers I had placed in my way to receiving love from others and from myself. A Course in Miracles says, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all of the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Roger's unconditional love gave me permission to look again. And when I finally began to look, I could see some of those barriers. And beneath those barriers, I began to rediscover something that had been there all along. A Course in Miracles teaches that love is our true nature. And the Christian scriptures point us in that same direction. The first letter of John says, God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God, and God in them. And just a couple of verses later, there is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear. And what is perfect love but unconditional love? Only love is real. Remember that? That's one of our central tenets here at the Church Within. And it beautifully summarizes one of the central teachings of A Course in Miracles. The Course continues to say, the opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. ACIM teaches that we are extensions of the divine, that at our deepest nature, that our deepest nature shares in the love and timeless essence of God, which, as we know, God is love. Or as we sometimes say, we are divine beings having a human experience. So follow that for a moment. I'm sorry, let me take a step back. The Bible points towards something similar in Genesis. We all know the passage, humanity is made in the image and likeness of God. So follow that for a moment. God is love. We are created in his image and likeness. Then perhaps it's true that our deepest level, we are love. It's not something we have to earn. It's not something that if we are good enough, we'll get. If we take a closer look at the life of Jesus, I think his actions suggest something very important. When we get a glimpse of unconditional love, sometimes even just a moment of it, change can occur. Love begets love. It's like that concept when you have two guitars next to each other and you play a string on one, that string will begin to vibrate on the other one. Love resonates at a certain frequency, and it brings out love in others. Think about the story of Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus was a rich tax collector, a short one at that, because he climbed a tree to be able to see this man that he had heard so much about, because he couldn't see over the crowd. And as you know, the tax collectors back in that time were considered the lowlifes, the scum of the earth. They're busy fattening their pocket while everybody else is starving. And when Jesus comes up to him, when he comes up to that tree and he sees him in the tree, he essentially says, Zacchaeus, come down from there. I'm coming to your home. Notice what Jesus did not say. He doesn't say, first give away half your wealth. First repay everyone you've cheated. First become a better person. And then once you become worthy enough, I will come to your house. I'll accept you. No. Instead, Jesus comes to him first. And after this encounter, Zacchaeus gives half his wealth to the poor, we're told, and begins to turn his life around. That pattern matters. It is the same pattern I experienced. Conditional religion, the religion I experienced growing up, said, if you change, you become worthy. When you become worthy, you will receive love. But Jesus repeatedly turned this around. He said, receive love. When you receive my love, you begin to discover your worth. You begin to discover what is already there. And when you discover your worth, change can occur naturally. In other words, you begin to embody what's already there, like I said. As a Gestalt therapist, this immediately reminds me of something we call the paradoxical theory of change. The paradoxical theory of change says that true transformation happens when a person becomes more fully what they are in the present moment, not when they are continually trying to force themselves to become what they are not. In Gestalt, we believe that the person is and has always been whole, and there is a natural movement within toward growth. But as long as I believe I am broken, I'm unacceptable, I need to fix myself before I can be okay, I am resisting what is. You've probably heard the saying, what you resist persists. There's truth in that. I like to ask my clients, and I'll ask you today, what happens when I tell you don't think of a pink elephant? You think of a pink elephant, right? And as long as you're telling yourself, don't think of a pink elephant, don't think of a pink elephant, what are you doing? You're thinking of a pink elephant. So when we try to become someone we're not, we're resisting what is. And there's a resistance that's very similar to the pink elephant thing. And it oftentimes persists and it grows oftentimes. Most therapies would ask, how do we get this person to change? Gestalt asks a different question. What might be preventing this person from changing naturally? Gestalt sometimes likens the human organism to a river. Imagine a river. Nobody pushes the water. Nobody stands behind it telling it where to go. Water flows downhill naturally. It's a law of nature. So if you come to a river that has stopped flowing, you don't stand there asking, how do I make water flow? You ask, what's blocking it? Sound familiar? Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Gestalt would say that some of my barriers were those interdicts. Remember those? The shoulds, the musts. I must be a good Catholic boy. I must be tough. I should be manly. I should not be too sensitive. These beliefs initially helped me survive the environment I was growing up in. They helped me obtain love, affection, and attention from my mother and approval from my father. But over time, as they became fixed and ingrained in me, they became barriers to love. They prevented me from seeing my true essence. And they turned love into a condition. I am lovable if, fill in the blank. So perhaps you can see the pattern. Perhaps you can see why Rachel Remen's words have meant so much to me. One moment of unconditional love may call into question a lifetime of feeling unworthy and invalidate it. That's what Roger's love did for me. I shared my flaws, my mistakes, my so-called sins, my fears, my screw-ups with Roger. I was sensitive around him. I cried. I let my freak flag fly. I had good days around him and I had bad days. Sometimes I turned in great work and sometimes I completely dropped the ball. Yet none of that changed the way he looked at me. Always with loving presence. Lost track of where I was. Something broke open inside me when he did that. One of those barriers started to fade away. And I began to wonder, if this man can know me, all of me, and still love me, maybe I'm actually lovable. Maybe I've been wrong. Maybe the problem has never been that something was fundamentally wrong with me. Maybe I simply spent my life looking at myself through those barriers. So today, this is a gentle reminder to remember your true nature. A little nudge to look within and be love. Like my shirt. A reminder that we are called to emanate into the world what we are at our core. Oh, by the way, let me take a step back here. This t-shirt I got from the Human Kindness Foundation. It's a foundation that was put together by a man named Bo Lozoff, who was good friends with Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers. And when Fred Rogers died, he left a sizable endowment to the organization, which ministers to people in prison. And I got to hear that story when I visited their headquarters in North Carolina. And they even have one of Fred Rogers' trolleys in their headquarters. So another beautiful connection. So this is a reminder that we are called to emanate into the world what we are at our core. Love. It isn't simply about understanding love intellectually. It's about experiencing it, allowing it to guide you, allowing it to shape the choices you make, allowing it to shape the meaning you make of things, allowing it to shape the way you set your gaze upon the world and the people around you. So I invite you now, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes. We're going to do something similar to our meditation earlier. I want you to take a moment and reflect on the people in your life who have shown you love. You might go back all the way to childhood. Perhaps a caregiver, a parent, a family member, a grandmother or grandfather. My daughter is named after my grandmother, who was a huge, loving support in my life. And then move forward through your life. Think about the friendships you've had. Some of those people may not be in your life anymore, but those moments of love that were expressed and received are still inside of you. Reflect on the love you have for your children, if you have children, your nieces, your nephews, your grandbabies. Just notice that quality of love. Think about the teachers who express love towards you. People who have mentored you, who have guided you. Several of mine are here tonight or today. Bring them into your consciousness. Bring them into your awareness. And perhaps think about the love that creation itself offers us. The love from nature. The way trees give us shade. The way they give us fruit and wood and clean air to breathe. The way water sustains us, flowing and coursing through our bodies, cleansing and nourishing the planet. The way birds sing and allow us to enjoy their song. The way flowers bloom and offer their fragrance. All of this is love. Love is not simply an emotion. It's our very existence. It's woven through all of creation. And the more we learn to see it, and the more we allow ourselves to experience it, the more our lives can become expressions of that love. We spend so much of our time looking here and there, searching for love. We're like fish in the ocean, searching high and low for water. So for just a moment, stop searching. Let go. Recognize the love that is already here. Become aware of it. Allow yourself to experience your own loving consciousness. That's who you are. That's your true nature. Take a moment to sit with that. While your eyes remain closed, I want to try something. I want to see if we can expand that loving consciousness to include someone else. Right now, we have surrounded our loving consciousness around the people who have loved us and people whom we have loved. But love is boundless. Our divine love is infinite. So I invite you to bring into your awareness someone you have had a hard time loving. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe a coworker or acquaintance. Maybe it's the person who cut you off this morning on the way here. Maybe it's a politician. Maybe it's an entire political party. Just bring that person into your awareness and notice what happens inside you. See if you can extend your loving consciousness far enough to include them too. I wonder if, just for a moment, you can look beyond their exterior. Look beyond the behaviors that you find difficult. And imagine that deep within them is the same love that exists within you. But perhaps it too has been buried beneath a lifetime of barriers. Fear, shame, judgment, pain, anger, grief. All the things that human beings build around themselves. See if you can extend your loving consciousness toward them, not to approve of everything they have done, not to deny your own boundaries, but simply to recognize something deeper within them. The loving consciousness at their core. The same love that is within you. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you for trying that with me. Across religions and spiritual traditions, we repeatedly encounter this same call. Not simply to love those who are easy to love, but to expand the boundaries of our love. Ram Dass, the great spiritual teacher Ram Dass, he's the one, if you're not familiar, that we have quoted on some of our t-shirts. We are all just walking each other home. He learned under his guru, Neem Karoli Baba, or affectionately known as Maharaji. Maharaji repeatedly told Ram Dass, love everyone, serve everyone, and remember God. The Buddhist tradition teaches us about metta, loving kindness, extending wishes of peace, safety, and well-being outward towards all beings. Gandhi taught us the transformative power of love. And Christ called us to love our neighbor as ourselves, even remarkably, to love our enemies. Rachel Remen spent much of her life exploring what it means to heal, to become whole, and to be love. One of the ideas she returned to was beautifully simple. Perhaps the purpose of life is to grow in wisdom and learn to love better. Maybe that's what we're here doing. Learning to love better. seeking out the barriers we have built against love, slowly allowing those barriers to fall, and learning to embody the unconditional love that was underneath them all along. And if we can practice that, if we can learn to see ourselves and one another through the eyes of love, then maybe our love too can offer someone what Roger's love offered to me. Maybe one moment of our unconditional love can call into question another person's lifetime of feeling unworthy and invalidate it. I love you all. And so it is.
The words I have to say may well be simple, but they're true. Until you give your love, there's nothing more than we can do. Love is the opening door. Love is what we came here for. No one could offer you more. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? You say it's very hard to leave behind the life we knew. But there's no other way, and now it's time. It really is up to you. Love is the key we must turn. Truth is the flame we must burn. Freedom, the lesson we must learn. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? Love is the opening door. Love is what we came here for. No one could offer you more. Do you know what I mean? Love is the opening door. Love is what we came here for. No one could offer you more. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen?
Let's join together in the offering prayer. All that I am and all that I have comes from your limitless supply. I am an open and willing conduit through which your good flows. I share all that I have as you direct. Love, friendship, prosperity, peace, abundance, and joy are gifts that I share and receive. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, God. Amen. Creator of all good things, we gather in gratitude for the gifts that surround us, for life, for community, for strength through difficult days, and for moments of joy, healing, and hope. With thankful hearts, we offer these gifts today. May they be used with wisdom, compassion, and generosity to uplift those in need, encourage one another, and bring light where there is struggle. Teach us to live with open hands and grateful spirits, recognizing that even small acts of kindness can create lasting change. May this offering reflect not obligation, but gratitude for what we have received and hope for what we can build together. With thankful hearts, we give. Blessed be. And now for the closing song. Stand if you're able, and if it's comfortable, join hands with your neighbor.
May the peace of God go before us into this glorious week, and may the peace remain wherever we have walked. Peace above us and below us, peace to the right and to the left, peace within and without, peace in the face of everyone we meet, peace in the words to everyone we greet. Amen.